This is for educational use only. Our group grant permission from our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as educational material.
Good day, everyone.
Today, I present a report on global food security. Global food security refers to a condition in which all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. There are four interrelated dimensions support this definition. First, availability. Enough food is produced or supplied to satisfy demand, either by domestic production or imports. Second, access. People have the means, economic or physical, to obtain that food. Third is the utilization. Food consumed is properly used by the body. This depends on adequate nutrition, clean water, sanitation, and knowledge of healthy diet practices. Fourth is the stability. The availability, access, and utilization of food remain reliable over time, unaffected by shocks like economic crisis, conflict, or climate events. Global food security is not just about producing enough food, it's also about fairness and distribution, stable access, and the ability of people to convert food into nutrition. Achieving global food security is considered a human right and foundation for social and economic development.
I am Decadet Rivera, and today we will going to tackle about the factors leading to global food security and examine the state of the Philippines in terms of food security during pandemic. Global food security is shaped by the four key pillars of availability, access, utilization, and stability, which rely on factors such as sufficient agricultural production, strong infrastructure and supply chains, affordable food prices, and good nutrition and health conditions. These conditions can be weakened by the climate change, poverty, market disruptions, conflict, and population pressures, leading to food loss and inequality and access. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Philippines is already vulnerable due to reliance on food imports and logistical challenges, experienced severe disruptions in food production, transport, and markets, resulting in widespread income loss and reduced purchasing power. Consequently, a significant proportion of Filipino households face moderate to severe food insecurity with reduced access to nutritious food and limited effectiveness of safety net programs. Overall, the pandemic intensified existing weaknesses in the country's agri-food systems, highlighting the need for stronger resilience and sustainable support for food security.
Hello, everyone. This is Day Cadet Bibar. My topic, the five components of food security. The five components of food security. First, availability. This refers to having sufficient quantities of food available on a consistent basis. Includes production, imports, stock levels, distribution. Example, rice production and imports ensure the Philippines has rice year-round. Second, accessibility. People must have physical and economic access to food. Includes income, food prices, transportation, markets. Example, high food prices during the pandemic made it hard for poor families to buy nutritious food. Third, utilization. Food must be nutritious, safe, and properly used by the body. Includes nutrition, clean water, sanitation, food preparation, health status. Example, areas with poor sanitation, and limited clean water still experience malnutrition even if food is present.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, classmates. And I'm Cadet Abasolo Jadon, and I'm be the one to continue about the 5 components of food security and stability. Food availability, access, and utilization must be stable over time. Includes climate change, conflict, economic crisis, and seasonal shortage. For example, typhoon destroy crops yearly, causing unstable food supply in provinces. And last is agency, added by FAO in 2020. People should have the ability, rights, and power to make decisions about food productions and distribution and consumption. Includes food sovereignty, participation in food system, and fair policies. For example, farmer using traditional farming method without being forced into a commercial agribusiness model.
Good day everyone, my name is Cadet Humawan, and today we are going to explore the threat of global food security. First is climate change. Climate change is the single biggest threat of global food security because it affects very major aspect of food production. Drought destroy crops and livestock. Extremely heat lowers the yield of essential staples like wheat, rice, and corn, and flood wash away farmlands. In addition, increasingly unpredicted season disrupt planting and harvesting cycles, making food production more unstable and less reliable. Number 2 is water scarcity. Food production depends heavily on water, and agriculture alone uses about 70% of world's freshwater supply. However, many rivers, lakes, and underground aquifers are rapidly drying. Regions such as Africa, South Asia, and Middle East faces especially severe water shortage. Without adequate water, even the most fertilized land cannot sustain crop growth, making water scarcity as critical challenge to food security. Number 3 is conflict and political instability. War and political instability immediately disrupt food system. Conflicts forces farmers to abandon their field, destroy infrastructure, and interrupt supply chain and local markets. It also blocks the import and export of essential goods. Situation in countries like Ukraine, Sudan, and Yemen demonstrate how quickly conflict can create hunger crisis by cutting off food production and distribution. 4 is economic inequality and poverty. Even the food is available, millions of people cannot afford it due to economic inequality and poverty. High food prices disproportionately affect low-income families, and poverty limits access to healthy and nutritious meals. Economic shock such as inflation and job losses worsen the problem, showing that the food security is not only about producing enough food but also ensuring people can access it. Soil degradation. Healthy soil is essential for agriculture, yet 1/3 of the world's soil is already degraded. Intensive farming practices, chemical misuse, and deforestation contribute to declining soil quality. As soil losses and structure, it becomes less productive, leading to lower crop yield and long-term threat to food production. For soil today means food shortage in future. That's all. Thank you.
I'm Cadet Habalya, so I will discuss my topics. It's all about, is global food security possible? So, achieving global food security is possible by challenges. It requires ensuring everyone has access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food despite issues like population growth, climate change, resource scarcity, poverty, conflict, and solution involve sustainable agriculture, technological innovation, policy changes, and international cooperation. Local effort, like the Philippine Central Visayas, must address specific vulnerabilities such as typhoon by promoting resilience, agriculture, and community support. A concerted effort is needed to overcome this challenge and ensure food security for all.
Good day everyone. Today I will talk about one of the most important challenges the world is facing, the environmental crisis and how it affects food security. Food security means having reliable access to enough safe, nutritious food for a healthy life. But because of environmental problems, millions of people are now struggling to get the food they need. First, climate change. This is greatly affecting agriculture. Rising temperatures, stronger typhoons, drought, and unpredictable weather patterns destroy crops and reduce harvest. For example, too much heat can damage rice and corn, while heavy rains can flood farmlands. When this happens, food production drops and price increase, making it harder for families to afford basic meals. Second, the world is also experiencing water scarcity. Water is essential for farming, yet many rivers and groundwater sources are drying up due to overuse and pollution. When there is not enough clean water for irrigation, farmers cannot grow the crops we depend on. This leads to a food shortage, especially in countries that are already experiencing drought. Another major concern is soil degradation. Healthy soil is necessary to grow healthy crops, but overfarming, deforestation, and excessive use of chemical fertilizers are damaging our lands. Soil erosion and desertification reduce the quality and quantity of agriculture harvest, affecting both farmers and consumers. We also face the loss of biodiversity. Many insects, especially bees that help pollinate crops, are declining because of pollution, and pesticide use. Overfishing is reducing the number of fish in our oceans. When biodiversity decreases, the balance of our ecosystem is disturbed and food supplies become less stable. Pollution also plays a big role. Contaminated soil, dirty air, and polluted ocean reduce the quality of food and harm the environment where the crops and animals grow. This is not limits food production but also threatens human health. Lastly, population growth and urbanization put additional pressure on our food system. As more people move to cities, farmland is converted into housing and infrastructure. This reduces the land available for producing food while increasing the demand for it.
Here is a breakdown of the key ways the environmental crisis affects food security. Number 1. Impacts of climate change on production. Climate change is perhaps the single biggest environmental threat to food security, directly affecting the availability of food. Extreme weather events. Increased frequency and intensity of events like droughts, floods, and severe storms destroy crops, livestock, and infrastructure, leading to immediate food shortage and price spikes. Temperature and precipitation changes. Decreased yields. Rising average temperatures reduce the yields of major staple crops like corn, wheat, rice, especially in tropical and temperate regions. Water scarcity. Changes in precipitation patterns lead to prolonged droughts in some areas, diminishing the water supply needed for irrigation and livestock. Pests and diseases. Warmer temperatures can expand the geographic range and increase the occurrence of agricultural pests, weeds, and plant diseases, requiring more chemical controls or causing greater crop loss. Ocean impacts. Warming oceans and acidification threaten fish stocks, which are a vital source of protein and income for billions of people. Number 2. water and land degradation. Other major environmental crises also undermine the very foundation of agriculture. Land degradation and desertification, unsustainable farming practices combined with climate stress lead to soil erosion, the loss of fertile topsoil, and desertification. This reduces the amount of farmable land and its capacity to grow food. Water pollution and scarcity. Agriculture uses about 70% of the world's freshwater withdrawals. In water-stressed regions, this is unsustainable. Runoff from fertilizers and pesticides pollutes rivers, lakes, and oceans, contributing to harmful phenomena like eutrophication, which can kill marine life and contaminate water sources. Number 3. The vicious cycle. Food systems as a contributor. The way we currently produce food is a major contributor to the environmental crisis, lacking in future insecurity. Greenhouse gas emissions. The global food system is responsible for roughly 1/4 to 1/3 of global greenhouse gas emissions. These emissions come from land use change, clearing forests for new agricultural land, on-farm production, methane emissions from livestock, especially cattle and rice paddies, and nitrous oxide from excess fertilizer use. Biodiversity loss. Agriculture is the leading cause of global biodiversity loss as natural habitats are converted into farmland. Loss of biodiversity includes the decline of crucial pollinators like bees, which are essential for many crops. Number 4. Social and economic consequences. The environmental impact translates directly into human suffering, affecting food access and utilization. Increased hunger and poverty. Falling crop yields and the destruction of livelihoods push more people, especially smallholder farmers in vulnerable regions, into poverty and acute hunger. Rising food prices. Production disruptions and supply chain challenges due to environmental disasters lead to higher and more volatile food prices, making nutritious food unaffordable for the poor. Malnutrition. Environmental stress can reduce the nutritional quality of some crops and limit access to diverse, nutritious diets, increasing malnutrition and stunting. This is a comprehensive challenge that requires global action to both mitigate the environmental crisis and adapt food systems to be more resilient.